I am an Indian, a disturbed Indian, because for the past couple of weeks I've been seeing a lot of protest and people expressing their anger on social media, even to the point of comparing our nation to some of the worst dictatorship countries of the past. Do you know how many refugees we have in the Northeast? A few thousand? A few 100,000? Millions? Why do our Muslim siblings feel discriminated? Why was the CM's house being attacked? Why was the internet shut down? Did the crowd really attack and burn public properties? Did the police attack the students for no reason at all? We don't know the answers for all these questions. We may never know. But what we can know is, what is CAA? Should we really panic? Or are we being used to create panic? All of this is due to the lack of proper communication. So in this video, we are going to see about the CAA. So let us see what the facts actually are. I'm sure each and every one of you watching this video would have grown up with a Hindu, Muslim and a Christian friend whom we all love and care about their peace and livelihood irrespective of their religion. So this entire thing is basically about the Citizenship Act of 1955. The CAA, the Citizenship Amendment Act, is basically bringing a revoke or an amendment in the Citizenship Act of 1955. Now what this basically states is, the basic statement of CAA is, illegal migrants from countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan, and people and the migrants who belong to the religions like Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, Parsis and Christianity who entered India on or before 31st December 2014 will be getting their citizenship. So the government says their aim is to provide citizenships to these persecuted minorities from the above mentioned countries. So this is not about the people of India, this is not about the citizens of India, the Indian Muslims. It is about the people who are wanting to be the citizens of India. So it has nothing to do with our people from our country, but the persecuted minorities from our neighboring countries. So what makes a person an illegal migrant? So the statement they have for this is, an illegal migrant is a foreigner who enters our country without proper travel documents such as passport and visa. Number two is a foreigner who has entered with proper documents but have stayed beyond their permitted time. They'll be having all their documents in accordance to the law, but they'll be staying after their permitted time. So these kind of people are known as illegal migrants. So there are three types of illegal migrants. People who have come for occupation, they have to leave the country or get their visa extended after their time of occupation or their permitted time. Number two is refugees. Now this is left to the nation to decide. They will decide what to do with them. Number three is for people who are wanting to be citizens of this country, and there is a separate law for that process. Now this is something which happens in every foreign countries as well. Countries like Singapore, Malaysia, United States. If you have friends or relatives who have been staying there for a long period of time, you would know this. So they are classified into three types. People who come for occupation, they're called as migrants. And after staying there for, every country has a different period of time. Usually it's about 7 to 10 years of time. They'd watch your activity and everything that you're doing, and then they'll give you PR, permanent resident. And then if you want to apply it for citizenship, each country have their own laws. For example, in United States, you will get a green card. which means you're a citizen but not a citizen who was born in the US soil. So this is what India is also trying to implement. This is something which is very common in all nations. So I've explained you about the basics and fundamentals of the CAA. Now let us look into the laws which govern the CAA. Those are the articles. Now Article 11 states that the decision of drafting the Citizenship Act is completely left to the Parliament. So yes, the Parliament has the power to take decisions, to make decisions on this. Now Article 10 states that irrespective of what changes the Parliament brings, it will not affect the existing citizens of India. So even while drafting the laws on August 10th, 1949, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar famously stated that the business of laying down permanent laws for citizenship is left to Parliament itself. So yes, Parliament has the absolute power to do this, and this bill was passed in the Parliament and then brought into Act. So to understand this, we have to go back to 1947. So as we all know, in 1947, both India and Pakistan partitioned. Pakistan was made out of India and it was declared as an Islamic Republic. Whereas India, fortunately, even though it had a majority of Hindu population, it decided to remain secular, which means it gave equal rights to everybody irrespective of their religion and faith. In fact, in India, Christians and Muslims have more rights than Hindus as they are minorities. Whereas in Pakistan, it is not so. The law itself discriminates minorities. To stop this from happening, in 1950, the then Prime Minister of both the countries, Liaquat Ali Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru, sat down in Delhi and they created a pact which was known as the Liaquat-Nehru Pact, which was basically for protecting the laws and interests of these minorities. And unfortunately, Pakistan did not keep up with this pact, whereas in India, National Commission for Minorities were set up for every religion that was considered to be one. And the amount of pain and trauma the minorities have went through in this country is inexplicable, and anything we try to describe that will be an understatement. I'll give you two famous incidents. Danish Kaneria, the famous Pakistani cricketer, has publicly made a statement about the discrimination that he went through when he was playing for Pakistan. There have been several instances like this. In Pakistan, for example, a person can be sentenced for death if they post something online which is blasphemy to their religion. So these kind of things have happened in Pakistan. So that is the reason why these people want to move out of their country. They're declaring it that we can't survive there. My country is kind of like unfit for me to live there. So for survival reasons, nothing else, they just want to survive, they move out to this country. So that's why they are persecuted minorities. Whereas if you see the majority of the population in Pakistan, they are Muslims and they cannot be considered as persecuted minorities. I would also like to narrate another incident which happened in 1971, the war between East and West Pakistan. The war which gave independence to the East Pakistan, and thus it became as Bangladesh. So during that time, millions of people were killed in that war, and millions of people came to India as refugees from Bangladesh. And without any second thought, India decided to provide them food and shelter until the war was over. And this is where the Assam movement also started, because the Assamese people felt like the influx was so massive that the population which came from Bangladesh was much higher than the population of their own state. So they immediately asked the government to see into this problem. So the government promised that they will check, they will verify and identify them and send them back to their country after the war is over. So at that time, they did not care about what religion they belonged to. They welcomed everyone into the country and provided them with food and shelter. Now the question is, can't Muslims from these three countries seek for a citizenship in India? No, nobody said like that. Yes, they can seek for citizenship, but there are certain rules and criteria for getting that citizenship. So now if they want to come for occupation, they can come, have their work permits, and extend their visa. So anybody from any country can come to India and work. All of that is free. All of that is open. But for getting a citizenship, there are certain rules and regulations set by the government. So anybody can get a citizenship if they approach it the right way. I want to remind you of one famous person, Sonia Gandhi. Sonia Gandhi, as we all know, is a migrant, and she was not just a migrant, she was one of the most successful and influential migrants this country has ever had. In fact, there is no doubt that she's more successful than most citizens who are born in India itself. So we all know that she came from Italy, and long after her marriage, she got her citizenship, and after that, we all know how much she has accomplished in her life. So just like that, anybody can come to India, get a citizenship, and also be successful as well. All of that is open if you go accordance to the law. And for your further information, 500 Muslims from these three nations have also gotten their citizenship. So yes, I hope this cleared a lot of doubts and questions that you had. The main reason for making this video is I personally saw a lot of my friends posting things on social platforms which was not true. I feel as much as it is our duty to oppose or support something the government is initiating, it is also our duty to look into the facts, what is real and what is not. And one more thing that I wanted to clear in this video is the CAA is not about Indian Muslims. They are the true citizens of this country. They are sons of the soil, and this is not about them. They are our brothers and sisters. So let us make it clear, and I would really like to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as I mentioned earlier, this video is about CAA alone and not the NRC. If you'd like me to talk about the NRC, I'd make a separate video on that. Yes, it has a lot of confusions and questions to be answered. So leave it down on the comment section below. We'll have a very healthy discussion. Let us not spread hate and deal with this as responsible citizens. Jai Hind.